Good morning. It's an awesome day to be here in Patagonia, and we're just about done with our W hike. It was an awesome experience. We're coming down from Glacier Grade right now. On this video, we're hoping to be able to give you as much information on how to do this area from a perspective of somebody who has done this 5 times and a Chilean American, somebody that has done it only one time. If you find this information helpful, make sure you share it with your friends that are willing to come here or looking to come here. And hope you guys enjoy your W trek as much as we did.
So you've been thinking about going to Torres del Paine National Park in the Chilean Patagonia for a while now. The purpose of this video is to try to give you a little different perspective from somebody that has been there 5 times and also somebody that was born in Chile. So we're going to start with how do you get to Torres del Paine National Park. So you have to take a flight from Santiago to Punta Arenas, which is one of the biggest cities in that area. That's about a 3.5 to 4 hour flight. Then from Punta Arenas Airport, then you have to take a 3 hour and 50-minute bus ride to Puerto Natales. I know you're thinking, bus rides, stressful. Not at all. You can book all these tickets online. The bus services are super nice, on time, very clean, very safe, and it only costs about $10, so it's pretty reasonable. After that bus ride, you will get to Puerto Natales, which is a really cool little town. They have tons of good food. Patagonian barbecue, king crab, just you name it. Very, very good, reasonably priced. Definitely worth spending a night there, especially after having a flight and a long bus ride. What most people do is then the next morning they take the earliest bus to the park. So I know what you're hearing. Another bus. Not a big deal. Again, you can book it online. Super reasonably priced, and honestly the drive to the park is phenomenal. It's really nice, it's beautiful. You get to see just the flat areas of Patagonia and also the mountains of Patagonia, lakes and everything. It's super cool. That's about an hour and a half ride to the first entrance of the park. Depending on which way you start your hike, it might be a little bit longer, but the first entrance is about an hour and a half. Once you arrive to Torres del Paine National Park, you're going to have to check in with the park rangers. They're going to give you an informational video with the rules and regulations, and mainly talks about fire safety because they had that issue in the past. You are required to have a reservation with the campsites that you're going to be staying if you're staying overnight. You need to be able to bring that in and have proof that you have that, because you are not allowed to just put a tent anywhere you want in the park. There's 2 ways that you can hike this national park. One way is to do the W, and the other way is to do the O circuit, or the full circuit that they call it. The W is the most famous one. You get to see a lot of stuff. If you feel like you want to do more, you can do the O circuit end of that area, and also the very top of the Glacier Gray overpass. So both great options. It just really depends on your physical condition, your time that you have. They say the W is 5 to 7 days. The O circuit is about 10 plus days. It's kind of hard to put a time frame for all of these because it really depends on how you hike. You know, you see people hiking in Patagonia that are like street hiking. They're just basically running down the trail. And then you see other people that just hike very slow, take pictures, enjoy nature, just kind of sit there. My experience after being there for five times in national park is that I just kind of want to relax. You know, I want to hike, 5-6 hours and then just go back to the campsite and just eat dinner and talk to other people, Okay, so now we're going to talk about reservations. So there's two main companies that control like the campsites of the park. One is called Fantástico Sur, which controls the Chileno side of the W, and then the other one is called Vértice Patagonia, and that one controls the Glacier Gray side of the W. The back of the park is kind of split between both of the companies also. So you can make reservations with them online. You can do all of this through the internet. You can even purchase meal plans through them, whatever you want. So there's a couple different ways that you can stay overnight at the park and at this campsites or refugio. So you can stay in the refugio and get a bed in like a bunk bed. It's nothing fancy, but it's definitely obviously more comfortable and warm. Or you can stay in a tent. So if you decide to stay in a tent, which is what I prefer, I like more the adventure just being out there. You can either bring your own tent or you can rent a tent that is already there. So obviously the benefit of renting a tent that is already there, you don't have to carry it. If you don't have one, you don't have to rent one in Puerto Natales and bring it to the park. It's set, ready to go. It's perfect. You have a clean sleeping bag and a sleeping pad. So all you gotta do is just show up, stuff away, and you're good to go. Or you can bring your own tent, your own sleeping bag, and your own sleeping pad, and just do it that way. It's obviously a lot cheaper if you do it that way. If you are planning on taking a tent to Torres del Paine National Park, do not, and I mean this, do not buy a cheap tent. The winds in there, especially in the summertime, can get absolutely insane. I had a North Face tent that I bought, took it there, and I had about 3 hours of 70-mile-an-hour winds, and it got destroyed. Okay, so even the brand, sometimes it doesn't matter. Just have to make sure that you're getting a tent that is good with wind, because the wind is crazy, and sleeping on a flat tent during a rainstorm with wind at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's not fun. I've gotten up already in the middle of the night seeing people sleeping in the bathrooms because their tent was flat and all their stuff was wet. So, just really make sure you're picking the right kind of tent for the conditions that are there. The prices for all this stuff are, they're fairly reasonable. They both have different prices. Fantástico Sur and Vértice Patagonia have different prices. So Fantástico Sur, a campsite is about $21 a person. Vértice is like $9 to $10 a person. All right. If you're renting all the equipment like the tent, the sleeping pad, and the sleeping bag, Fantástico Sur is $65 for everything. Vértice splits it, and it actually ends up being more expensive than Fantástico Sur. So, it's up. Like I said, it's up to you what you do there. Meals. When I first started going to the park, I packed all my food, and I ended up carrying like a 75-pound backpack because of that. It was ridiculous. Like my knees were killing me after days of hiking, and I just couldn't wait to get rid of all the food because it was so much of it. So the last time we went to the park, we actually purchased some of the meal plans that they have, and they might seem like it's a lot of money but for what you get, I don't think is really that much. For example, Fantástico Sur meal plans for full board is $80 a day. Now that includes a full breakfast, which is a very good breakfast, a boxed lunch to take on the trail, and then a very nice dinner. And the dinners, like for example, the one night we got a huge piece of salmon with rice, a salad, dessert, and juice, you name it. You can also do like a half board, which is breakfast and dinner and skip the lunch, and then you can pack your lunch. We did that a lot. We were able to pack our lunch and then, just kind of cook it on the trail or like sandwiches or whatever. You save a little bit of money, $56 for the Fantastico Sur half board. But Vertice, it's a lot cheaper. For full board, it's $56. So, like I said, they both have different prices, but I truly believe that the food is worth it. And the food at Vertice Patagonia was amazing. They at Paine Grande they had a full buffet like bar that you were able to get food. So yeah, just don't overpack your stuff. The one thing that you have to make sure that you bring is plenty of snacks. When you're hiking out on the trail, you're burning a lot of energy, so you need to be able to get some of that energy back. At the refugios, they do have small stores that they sell some stuff, but it's not a lot. So like they might have a couple chocolate bars and things like that, but nothing crazy. You're able to buy it, but I think like you should bring that, and it's not a lot of weight, and you kind of go through it fairly quickly. The water in Torres del Paine National Park is one of the cleanest water in the world. Most of it comes from glacier melt. You truly don't have to worry about any bacteria in the water or anything like that. Like 5 times being there, I never once filtered the water, and I never got sick. The park rangers will tell you the water is clean. You just have to be smart about it. Don't get water right off the trail. Like just go up a little bit of the stream and get some water, and then you're fine. But the water tastes amazing. It's really good, and there's hundreds of creeks and rivers that you can get water from. That you never really have to worry about not having enough distance-wise. All right. So next, I'm going to talk a little bit about the weather. So, like I told you guys when I was talking to you about the tents, the weather in Patagonia is extremely unpredictable, and part of the reason why that is in that park is because Glacier Gray is only the beginning of about 200 miles of the southern ice fields of Chile. So the wind blows from that direction, it's gonna get cold. I've already been there hiking one day. That was beautiful, in shorts and a t-shirt, and an hour later it was snowing. That's just the way it is. It's just super crazy and unpredictable. Rain comes like that and it's gone, or you get big wind gusts that you can barely even stand up. That's just the way it is. It's a wild place. They say that the park has its own weather system, and that's 100% legit. So because of that, the way you need to pack for that is layers. 100% layers. You have to do layers. If you don't, you're gonna be overpacking. You're gonna have bulky jackets. You don't need any of that. Like there's times that you might be cold if you're at your campsite, but you start hiking and you get hot. So you might only need like a hoodie or something like that. So we try to take as little as possible. We took 2 pairs of hiking pants that convert into shorts. That was it for pants. Have something in case it rains. So we took like a light rain jacket and pants, very light. Something that you can put in a small little area of your backpack. You don't want to fill your backpack. Like trust me, guys, when I tell you this, like pack as light as possible. It is a huge difference. Including like for example your towel. Like some people take a full size towel. You can take, buy a small little microfiber towel online, super cheap, and it does the same job. And then you can hang it on the outside of your backpack so it dries. So layers, and then you need to have good shoes. You absolutely need to have good shoes. Waterproof shoes. You're gonna be crossing creeks, muddy areas. Your feet are gonna get soaked. If you don't have the right shoes. I saw people there hiking with, tennis shoes. Like, yeah, I'm sure it's comfortable, but I can guarantee you their feet got wet at some point. One thing that I don't want to forget to mention is also like when you're hiking the W, if you started or you ended at the Glacier Gray side, so that would be Paine Grande, there is a lake that you have to take this catamaran through that area. You don't need reservations for that, but you do need to make sure that you're waiting in line ahead schedule, because once it's full, you have to wait until it comes back, and that could be, you know, 2 or 3 hours later. So you pay when you show up there. I don't remember if you can pay with card or not, but I would just take cash. But that is also a really cool little ride, that you're on this beautiful lake and you can actually see the Torres del Paine, which is the most iconic picture that you see. Alright, so that's pretty much all the information that I have for you guys today. If I miss anything, go ahead and drop a question down in the comments and I will do my best to answer it. Torres del Paine National Park is a very special place, and you know, you won't regret going there. I can guarantee you that. It's one of those places that just sticks with you and you just want to keep going back over and over and over again. So hopefully you find this information useful. I'm planning on doing more videos like this. Let me know what you think about this. This is kind of like the first time I do a full informational video. If you like it, go ahead and subscribe. If not, oh well. Anyway, thank you guys. Appreciate watching and see you in the next one.